Hello and welcome to Karreen and Company. Today I'm going to talk about fibromyalgia, and as I'm talking about it, we're going to do a little belly button therapy. I'll get on my toes, and I want you to put your finger in your belly button. As I talk about things that you may have experienced in this life, that you may have inherited from your mother and father, or you may have brought in from other lifetimes, what I want you to do is take a breath in, hold, and release. I want you to set your intention that as we clear some of these statements, some of these feelings, some of these emotions on this first video, that you're going to accept and take any and all types of healing so you can get your body back. So in traditional Chinese medicine, it's a liver and spleen disharmony. So what happens over time when you get this diagnosis? You have pain constant all over the body, a lot of fatigue, a lot of tiredness. You get a lot of emotional ups and downs. You can't do the things you used to do, so depression sets in. And with the liver, the energy of the liver is frustration, agitation, irritation, because things get so stagnant and they're not moving, and your life gets stagnant and it stops moving. So let's take a breath, and at this time, let's ask our body to check top to bottom, left to right, and remove any and all beliefs, perceptions, judgments that have taken over our life. Take a breath in. Let's ask that any labeling that has taken place, that you have fibromyalgia, you're depressed, you're manic, let's not go ahead and take that as a life sentence. Let's take that as an acknowledgement from source or angels or guides that our body is just tired, it's stagnant, our blood isn't flowing the way we want it to. And let's take a breath in and give our body permission to recalibrate our central nervous system and ask it to start moving from top to bottom, left to right, in and out. Our liver qi in traditional Chinese medicine moves up, down, in, out. But when that flow stops, we get chronic pain. And the chronic pain that someone with fibromyalgia feels is so intense, so overwhelming, so fatiguing. So it's important that we breathe this out. Maybe we've lived with this diagnosis for a long time, but I want you to breathe in, hold, and as you hold and exhale really long and slow, that you release the belief that you must live in pain. You must clear and let go of any and all self-punishment programs, whether you're aware of them or unaware of them. Take another beautiful breath in and hold. I received the diagnosis of fibromyalgia probably 20 years ago, and I'm running my own business, so I don't have time for that type of diagnosis. What I do acknowledge is that I get more fatigue than most of my friends. So I try to do my diet differently. I try to take a lot of water in throughout the day. I make sure that I eat spleen nourishing foods, and those would be warming foods. Could be soups, it could be warm rice, it could be yams, it could be pumpkin, but we have to eat warm foods. And if you want to know what those are, go to TCM Spleen Chi Foods. Take a breath in. Let's clear out the belief that it's hard to cook for ourselves. We don't like these foods. Let's clear that now. Let's clear any and all issues with eating foods that nourish the spleen. And let's ask our spleen to raise its vibration. Breathe in again, and hold and hold and hold, and release. With a spleen chi vacuity, what happens is we tend to get a little bit bigger here and over our whole body because we get a lot of dampness and we hold on to more weight. And then after we eat, we can feel very lethargic, very tired. So let's clear the belief that every time we eat, that we become lethargic and tired. Take a breath. Let's give our body permission right now to eat the foods that nourish and heal our body. Take another breath in. let's clear from our body anything we inherited from our mother and father, their mothers and fathers, and their mothers and fathers for liver qi stagnation. Maybe they had chronic fatigue. Maybe they were tired. Maybe they were overwhelmed. Maybe they were frustrated with life. Let's do divine healing and divine forgiveness to our ancestors. Take a breath in. And exhale, chronic fatigue. Breathe in deep to the lower dantian and hold. Breathe out forgiveness. Good. Sometimes that constant pain makes us angry, makes us resentful. Let's take that breath in and ask any anger and resentment we also inherited either from our mothers and fathers and ancestors or just from experiences in this life because we're so fatigued. Let's breathe in divine love down to our lower dantian and hold. And exhale and let go of all the pain, all the suffering, all the sadness that we're aware of, unaware of, have no idea of. Let's ask that this cellular memory, as you're holding your finger in that umbilicus, stops reprogramming painful memories in our muscles. Take another breath in. And exhale the pain. Take a breath in. Let's clear the pain on the mental, the emotional, the psychological, and spiritual layers and levels, and hold. Give a beautiful release, just letting go of all the sadness, all the grief, all the physical pain, all the emotional pain. Good. You know, a lot of times we get a lot of disturbed sleep because we can't get comfortable, and I do understand that. So, any programs of insomnia, any programs of muscle pain, bone pain, let's go ahead and address that. And if we inherited anything such as this from our ancestors, let's go in and acknowledge it, identify it, release it, and clear it. Take a beautiful breath in. A nice release. Take another one in. Let's clear all issues of insomnia, pain, suffering, sensitivities in our muscles and our bones, and a beautiful long exhale. Good. Let's clear and acknowledge extreme fatigue. That's what happens when we have a spleen chi vacuity. I'm going to show you my tongue because I have it. It's going to be a very large tongue. You're going to see these little scallops or scallion lines on the outer edge. You can see my tongue is fat, the edges are a little pinker, and that's a spleen, a good sign of spleen chi vacuity. I have to make sure every day I eat. Now just remember, your spleen does not like cold, so things from the refrigerator they do not love. They love more warm teas. Make sure the tea is a warming tea. They love, bone broth. They love beef broth. Drinks should be from the counter, not cold, because a spleen doesn't love cold, and the more cold we put in here, the longer it takes to process, and even though it tastes delicious, the outcome is more chronic fatigue. So look at your tongue. Let's clear the belief that the things we eat cause us more extreme fatigue. Let's check our body for parasites and feces. Let's ask our angels, our guides, our source to check our body from top to bottom, left to right, inside and out. Take a beautiful breath in and release. Again, let's ask for a spiritual kick and check our body for any parasites, any feces in our body. Remove them, release them, and clear them. Take a breath. And then let's ask them to check for any spiritual parasites that we may have brought into this lifetime or attracted to us, and let's ask they be identified, released, and cleared, and sent to their most right and perfect place. Take another breath. Good job. You get loss of energy, and the loss of energy is just that chronic fatigue. But let's clear our body of all beliefs that we have chronic fatigue, that means we're labeled for life. Let's take a breath in And let's forgive ourselves for holding on to that. Just because we were labeled that doesn't mean you have to live it. You can shift it through the food you eat, by the way you think, by the way we process. And it does take time, but if you have that drive within, let's clear it. Because a spleen chief acuity is an excessive mind, a mind that overthinks, overworks, overprocesses. And you're probably a really, really loving, giving person, and you give and you give and you give. And the part to that is you don't always receive. And so that causes more challenges within. So let's breathe in a lot of love. Take it in really deep. Hold, hold, and breathe out forgiveness. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe in, let's breathe in divine healing, divine forgiveness, removing and clearing all self-sabotage and self-destruction. And give a really long, slow exhale, removing all chronic fatigue. So in the morning, you might have acute morning stiffness, or maybe you take a nap in the mid-afternoon. Well, the liver's all about the free flow of qi. And it's not your Western medicine liver, but it's your traditional Chinese medicine liver. So as you breathe in as I'm talking, let's ask that that liver qi move from the top of the body to the bottom of the body, from the left to the right, inside and out, from our yin to our yang. You're going to do that through breathing. You're going to also do that through small exercises. If you do not move, if you do not exercise, you must. Even if you're just moving your qi this way, you have to move the energy where you hurt the most. If you hurt in the neck, if you hurt in the stomach, if you hurt in the legs, if you hurt in the glutes, if you hurt in the back, if you hurt in the chest, you can get yourself to do Qigong. You can find someone to help you. You don't have to go a full hour. Even if you just do 2 to 3 minutes at a time in that specific area that's causing you stagnation, stagnation equals pain. So if you have pain, just a nice massage in that area is going to bring new blood, fresh blood, moves qi, and qi heals. Okay? Take another breath. Let's clear blocks to moving. The way our mind moves, the way our body moves. Let's take a breath in and give ourselves permission to start moving. Moving our thoughts, moving our body. Usually they say there's 18 plus painful areas of the body. Well, let's not focus on that. That just tells me you've got a lot of liver qi stagnation. And even if you stand and you walk, and you can only do it for 10 steps, I'm so happy about that. If you could do a couple jumping jacks, that'd be good. If you could do a couple push-ups from the wall, anything you can do to make the body move the qi, that's what you have to do. I promise that will create healing. And as you breathe in love, value, and appreciation. And then as you exhale, let go of all the stagnant thoughts, feelings, and emotions that have held you back. Let's take another breath. Let's ask, as we have our fingers in the belly button, anything we receive from our mom and dad, their mothers and fathers, and our ancestors, 1, 10, hundreds of lifetimes. Let's create divine forgiveness, divine intervention, and let's sever and remove all etherical cords to being stagnant, to being stuck. A lot of times fibromyalgia comes down to an emotional thing. And we have to really be true with ourselves, because this is kind of a painful part. I've been diagnosed and I've lived it, and I've gotten myself out of it, thank God. But a lot of times we feel alone. We don't feel supported. We don't feel like maybe our mothers and fathers loved us the way we wanted. Maybe we had brothers and sisters. Maybe they didn't love us. And then it goes through relationships, and it always feels like we get the short end of the stick. So I want to tell you today, breathe in forgiveness. Exhale forgiveness. Breathe in forgiveness. Exhale forgiveness. I want you to do this every day. When a thought comes where you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel unloved, unworthy, I want you to stop, and I want you to be courageous, and I want you to admit on a heart level, a mind level, and take that breath deep down to that root chakra, or reproductive area. Hold it. And when you exhale, release. If you bring up tears or sadness, I want you to breathe it out until you actually feel in control and empowered, okay? So I also want to talk about a lot of times when we have been labeled fibromyalgia, and yes, it's true, we have physical pain all over, but remember, emotions over the years, and especially from childhood, if we don't work through the shame and the guilt and the heartache and the pain, it gets stuck in our low back. It turns into sciatic pain. It turns into, could be in the elbows, the shoulder, the knees, the scapula area. So when you have the worst pain, let's say it's in your scapula, your right scapula, you could touch here, you could take that breath in, deep into that area, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you exhale, exhale all the physical pain, all the emotional pain. And as we're working here, we have our finger in our belly button. Let's ask our guides, our angels, our high self committees to be of the highest vibration of the light to assist us every time we breathe in and exhale out. Let's ask them to remove all those trapped emotions stuck in our muscles, stuck in our joints, stuck in our brain. Let's ask if we could just transform our life. Set your intention that with your breath, you can heal your life. This is Karreen with Karreen and Company. And every time you breathe in love, breathe out pain. Every time you breathe in love, breathe out forgiveness. Every time you breathe in love, breathe out fibromyalgia. Take back your life, live your life to the fullest, and start loving you more than you expect others to love you. Because when we do that, our life gets better. Thank you. Please like, please subscribe, and please share with a friend. Thank you.